Hey guys, welcome to another ramble. It's another beautiful day in the beautiful life. Today's video, oh my goodness. I usually make my videos based off of like personal experiences and insights that I receive. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know if I'm just like highly intentional about like my experiences in life, but I definitely like take away like the lesson. I don't know, it's weird. Like every time I go out into the world and I interact with it, I like absolutely get hits of insights based off of the interactions that I have. And like today I was shopping and I don't know, I was walking around the store and I was looking at all the stuff that was for sale, and I'm like, oh my god, a lot of this stuff is just ridiculous, honestly. Like, we really don't need this stuff. And I was just like, and we've been conditioned to be consumers, right? To like, I don't know, I feel like if I were to think about it, it's almost like we've been like conditioned to not only put ourselves under a lot of stress. um we've been conditioned to put ourselves under a lot of stress, honestly. Like, look at how the system has been constructed. Like, I need to pay bills and I need to make a living and I need to like get a car or figure out a mode of transportation. It's just so many stresses. And then I think in order to like self-soothe, like if you don't know how to self-soothe, like just by like sitting with yourself and like, I don't know, just kind of like intentionally soothing and like, I mean, you can do it through breath work, you can do it through meditation, you can do it through being present. You know, that's why like I think meditation has become like so prevalent currently. It's just like, okay, like this is a natural way to self-soothe. You can go out into nature, you know, just to kind of remember your nature and get out of that kind of like state of mind that's full of crazy. But yeah, that's why to self-soothe, a lot of people retail therapy or emotional eat or, you know, death scroll on the phone, or, you know, there's so many abnormal ways to self-soothe. But and none of them are wrong. I mean, if that's what you got to do in this moment, that's what you got to do. Let's not guilt trip ourselves over it. But yeah, I was just looking at all this stuff in the store, and I'm just like, ew. Like, I was just like overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that was being like thrown in my like thrown in my face that and I feel like a lot of people are, yeah, think about it. Like, you know, like when you're standing in line to check out, they have all this shit all on the side just to like get you to like, I don't know, fragment and like, what is that, impulse buy, like something that you fucking really don't need. You walk out with all this stuff that you really didn't fucking need, and then you're stuck with a bill and you have to pay it off, and guess what, you have to work for that. Right? And then like, if you don't manage that properly, then you put yourself in a situation where like you're in debt and you're under stress. So yeah, like just all these things going through that's if I were to overthink, this is what is overthinking. Just over analyzing like life as it presents itself to me. You know, I'm like, oh, look at all this stuff they've put in front of us to like, I don't know. So they create the stress, kind of like narcissists, you know, they create the stress, they create the problem, and then they like make you pay for it by like putting yourself in a position that's probably detrimental to your well-being, honestly, and throws you even more off balance, you know. um hmm. But anyways, I was checking out, and the oh, before the checkout process, everybody's just mindlessly like consuming, like buying stuff. Like, I was walking through the store and people were just so unaware that they were standing in the middle of the aisle and blocking it. So unaware, like, and then just like, oh, and I'm just, or on their phone while they're shopping and totally like not present, and just like I said, blocking the aisle and just totally oblivious to it. I was just like, okay. Like, and I was getting slightly irritated, like, and then I caught myself, I'm like, you know what, these people are just unaware, and you're probably just like reacting to a very unnatural schematic. You know. Like, because when I'm in nature, I don't feel irritated. I feel soothed. I feel at peace. I feel at ease, because nature is nature. When you're living in a very unnatural environment with unnatural things and people acting unnaturally, like disconnected from nature, it's kind of like frustrating, I guess. Um, But I did catch myself. I caught myself getting slightly agitated, and then I went into self reflection. I'm like, why are you feeling this way? And it's like, oh, it's because, a lot of people are living unnaturally and functioning unnaturally in a very unnatural environment. And of course, it's like, frazzling my system, because I am an absolute nature lover. I fucking love nature. You have no idea. I don't think I could live anywhere where there wasn't greenery or like mountains or lakes or running water. Like, I couldn't. I think I do best in, like, I don't know, like pristine environments where nature hasn't really been modified too much by the hands of man. I don't know. Do you guys agree? Disagree? I don't know. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the checkout process. So I'm checking out, and hello, how are you? I'm good. And then, like, based off of the products I was buying, like the cashier was like, "Oh, it looks like you're gonna go travel," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I am actually." And then she started to put her 2 cents, like, "Oh well, where are you going?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the East Coast," and and then she was like, "Oh, why are you gonna go there? It's cold right now. You should go to, like, I don't know." She was naming all these other places. And then she continued going on and saying how, like, "Oh, are you from here? Oh, I've been around. I traveled a lot, and you should be going here and going there, and I don't know why you're going to the East Coast right now." And I don't know, and I was getting fucking annoyed, honestly. And then I caught myself and I asked myself, why am I getting annoyed? And it was her projections. It's like somebody trying to, like, alter and manipulate my choices based off of their projections. Like, and then I was just like, lady, you don't walk in my shoes, you don't live my life. And if I wanted your opinion about something, I probably would have asked you, but you verbally vomiting all over me, totally, like, I don't know, for me, not acceptable. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, when people verbally vomit on you, and it's just like, I don't know. It's like, for me, it seems like disrespect. It's disrespectful, you know? And then I'm thinking to myself, like, are you paying for my trip? Are you going to drive me around? Like, who are you to tell me, like, how I should be doing my trip? And then also, like, because she was being so negative, again, like, I was just like, this is your projection. This is your opinion, which I did not ask for. And no, thank you. And so I think, like, by me getting irritated, I could already tell, like, the interaction or the exchange was off kilter. And that's why, like, you should listen to your feelings. Like, I could guilt trip myself about it, but no, it's just like my internal compass is letting me know that something is awry, something is off balance, and I shouldn't tolerate it, So I did get kind of silent, and I guess I did put on a very, how do I say? I don't know, it was very, like, nonchalant, I suppose, towards her, and she mistook that as rudeness, when in actuality, she was verbally vomiting on me. It's like, make that make sense, like, who's disrespecting who here? For me, I'd be like, oh, cool, like, I don't know, like, that's how like, when people are supportive or people are, like, encouraging, they're, like, kind of trying to lift your spirits, not trying to impose their manipulations and their projections on you. That's how you know someone's good for you. They're not trying to control you. They're not trying to, like, alter your perception. They're, like, actually, like, more, I want to say, like I said, encouraging, like, I know people in my life, and they're like, I'm leaving tonight, but I know a lot of, like, people that I interact with on a regular. They're, like, super excited for me, they're like, oh, have a safe trip, you know, I'm excited for you. Can't wait to hear about it when you get back. But that woman, that cashier, is just like telling me like, oh, you shouldn't be going there. It's cold. Please, no, thank you. No, thank you. I don't even know you, and I didn't ask for your opinion, and I don't appreciate you verbally vomiting. Again, your projections and manipulations, you know? Thank you. Thank you, no thank you. So it got me thinking, like, I feel like people who are imbalanced do that. People who are more balanced, I think are the people who are like great listeners. I rarely come across great listeners, if I were to be honest. I usually come across people who verbally vomit. And I think they're lonely, and I think they're imbalanced, and I think they are unaware and unconscious that they have a dysregulated nervous system. It all goes back to the nervous system. That's the electronical function that makes this function, you know? So if your nervous system is imbalanced, that's when you're going to start doing some very strange things, I suppose. But yeah, just be aware of these things, you know? And for me, like, I've spent so much time with myself that I know myself to a pretty high degree. I mean, there's always more to know. But when I go out in the world, then I can sense like people's manipulations, their projections, their fears, their worries, their, you know, imbalances. So I can see these things clearly. I just haven't I haven't created a way to like politely tell these people to like, no thank you. You know what I mean? Except to just get very nonchalant and quiet. And it can be perceived as rude. I'm not gonna even lie. And then I don't know, like, I guess some people aren't as like socially aware, like, because I can tell, like, if somebody doesn't want to talk, I'll just like retract, you know? Like, I can tell if somebody is open, then, you know, I know that, oh, okay, this person is open to communicating or having a conversation. You know, if somebody is closed, sometimes I can get them to open up. But if I attempt and after a couple of attempts I fail, I usually just kind of back off and give them their space, because that's their way of saying they need space. You know, it's kind of like any animal, any living being, they'll let you know. There's subtle cues, you know, but I guess people, they're not aware of social cues. That's what I was trying to say. But yeah, if I think about it, and I think maybe you can relate to this, I think I'm a fucking great listener, and I'm not just tooting my own horn. I feel like I would rather just listen and observe before just like, you know, spewing something out. Just because, I don't know, that's how I kind of like gather data on a situation or person, is just by kind of like observing and kicking back and being more of a listener. Yeah, it's so funny. I have some, like, I guess past occurrences like with friends where they will tell me the same story 3 times, and I will literally like tell them, oh yeah, I remember that. And then, you remember that? I'm like, yeah. I said, dude, when you talk to me, I like really listen. Like, I'm not just like, you know, pretending to listen or like distracted and like going you know, I'm like literally present with you, and I'm like super listening. You know, I'm being very attentive. I also think that's healing, like, to be a great listener, like, because you give people that container to just kind of express a lot of pent up things, but that needs to be, I want to say, regulated as well, because you definitely don't want to just like give somebody free reign to take up your time and energy and attention. You know, at some point you have to like say politely, like, hey, you know, I have to go in a couple of minutes, so that they can wrap it up. You know, if not, like, I know some people just go on for hours, like just hours and hours, because they're so lonely, and it's hard to find good listeners, honestly. Or maybe, no, that's from observation. That's not a projection. Like, most people, like, want to just talk. They need the attention. They're so starved of it, you know. I honestly just don't give a fuck. Like, I don't need attention. Although I do attract attention. I just want to chill, honestly. And if I can be like, I don't know, create a container for someone to like be seen so that they can, I don't know, like let some stuff out and heal themselves, I'm open to that. But it just depends on the situation. Sometimes when it's too heavy and dense, I might tell them, hey, I gotta go. You know, especially when I can sense like my energy is getting like low, I'll be like, hey, I gotta go. But you know, it's nice talking to you. And then there's some people where like, I don't know, just drop some like some one-liners on them that really make them shift their perspective. But a lot of times I ask a lot of questions, and I also ask if my, you know, my advice is even wanted, because I don't want to, you know, be like delivering messages and it falls upon deaf ears. I don't want to throw my pearls to the swine. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know if you got anything from this video, but, you know, as usual, food for thought, things to think about. That was just currently on my mind. Anyways, I gotta go pack. Yeah. This trip is different. Normally, like in the past, I would be like this excessive planner, like crazy planner. And this trip, I'm just kind of going with the flow, like kind of going with, I have like a format, you know, like a format, but it's not like super like controlled planning, you know. I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna see where this takes me. And that's how this trip is gonna go, and I'm gonna see how that fares. I'm also traveling to a part of the US that I'm not familiar with, so that should be interesting. And I don't know, I'm just like, I feel like that's how you expand and grow. You just, you know, keep like trying things that you've never tried before and pushing past fear, you know. I don't know, just stupid thoughts coming out of my head right now. But I hope you are having a blessed day. Thank you for stopping by, and as always, remember to take care of yourself, because you are the most important investment. Blessings to one and all. Amen.